Hey, how's it going? Jeremiah Nickel, at ProDJKC on Twitter, and JT Nickel on Reddit. Elementary school music teacher, Pleasant Ridge Elementary in the great state of Kansas. Trying something new this year. I haven't explored this yet with elementary age students, K through 5, is to talk a little bit about protecting their hearing. I've seen students or young people go to everything from monster truck rallies to rock concerts, and I just thought, well, first of all, they're pretty young to not have hearing protection, but then you look at the parents and they don't have it in either. And it just seems kind of silly to me. And so I've been trying to teach kids about it. I come from rock band land. Before I was an elementary school music teacher, I ran a rock band. Now I'm a DJ on the weekends. I'm around audio all the time, and then to be in the music classroom with, lots of classes every day, lots of instruments playing at the same time, I think it's time to consider getting hearing protection, and to let the kids know it's cool to have it. It makes sense because you won't suffer from what is known as fatigue. So I have two different kinds that I picked out. I picked them up on the internets. The pink ones are 30 dB, the brown ones are 32 dB, reducing, and the pink ones are a little smaller. And through the courses of getting the kids fitted for them, I found that the pink ones were probably the best choice all along. I didn't know, I was just kind of buying them blind. So now hygienically, I was thinking, how do I store these things? So I have Mrs. Kern's class stored in here. Every kid has their number from their classroom. And it's just a Plano brand tackle box. And so everything's isolated, it's sterile, and at the end of the year they just take them home and we give them a new set next year. All right? So what I have found through teaching the kids how to put them in, which, by the way, if you're not a teacher, I know it sounds like an easy thing to do, which would be to roll it and stick it in the ear. But to teach kids how to do it, first of all, they don't understand just how hard they have to press, and for young fingers. So I tell them they can use both fingers, and you're just trying to make it into a point that's about the size of a straw in the lunchroom, and stick it in, and then wait 30 seconds. They think it's not working if it doesn't block out the sound right away, because it has to inflate or whatever the word is, come back to its original size to finish out. Well, finish out blocking off the ear. So then I started asking the kids, and we played with drumsticks and made some noise and played along with some music, and they just really liked it. I had them play with them, without them, played something else with them, and then without them again, and I went through a few things, and they all seemed to respond like, this is great. Because I was asking them, hey, when we make noise for 20, 25 minutes at a time, how many of you feel like you're starting to get a headache or you're getting sleepy, which are all signs of, fatigue from audio? And a few of them did. But then once they saw the difference, they could find that it was a lot more comfortable to have the hearing protection in when you have, 20 kids playing buckets and drumsticks at the same time. Okay, so then think about also recorders. I know you want the earplugs in because of the sound of the recorder. I get it. But when you're trying to teach music, you got to use some instruments that get the fingers moving. So imagine having them in with 20 students playing recorders. I know the kids are going to probably find a lot more enjoyment. As far as singing goes, I'm going to give them the option when we're getting ready for the music concert to plug one ear. And halfway through they could plug the other ear and open up opposite ear. You need one ear open so you can hear the others. Then it kind of carried over to, well, what about the regular classroom? Because, pardon me, I have allergies. If you've ever been in an elementary school before, you could go into a first grade, second grade or any grade classroom, and sometimes the kids are spread out in the room reading aloud. And the reality is some students may be triggered a bit from overstimulation from that. If you shut off a bit of the outside world, then the student who is reading can actually hear themselves reading out loud better because their voice is vibrating the skull, okay, and the bones, and it still translates that vibration into words in the inner ear that they can understand, okay, because we gather sound in a couple of different ways, through our ears, but also through our bodies. And so when you plug both of your ears and you talk, you can hear yourself really well, especially if you don't hear the rest of the people in the room. So I got to thinking, well, if that seems to work out, I'm going to do a test run with some of the teachers, see what they think, by letting the teachers take this with them to the class and bring it back to music at the same time. Now you got the kids, at least at their option, they have access to hearing protection. And then, you know, maybe this year they do it, but then next year they're like, I didn't really want it. But I guarantee you there's some kids that are going to be wanting to have this at their disposal. I get help with concentration. These are heroes. These are a 12 decibel reducing versus a 30 decibel reducing. These are, you know, the foam earplugs, if you find a cheap enough brand, they're about 8 cents a pair. These are about $8 to $9 a pair. The brand is Heroes. These offer a lot more fidelity, and they're really easy to insert and use. And I love Heroes. They are really good. They can last a long time if you take care of them. And they're, like I said, about $8. So maybe someday down the road, if this kind of trials out and seems to make sense, I could see this, something like this, being on like a school supply list, right? I mean, if you have 20 to 25 kids in a classroom, why not at least give it a shot? You got to find ways for you know, to help every individual learner succeed. I think hearing protection, just at times through the day, just seems to make a lot of sense. I know after I teach all day long, especially if we're doing rhythm instruments, and I go home with, you know, just very lethargic and just kind of beat down. And I think a lot of it has to do with just fatigue from the audio, just saturation of audio, constant saturation of audio. So I just want to make a video, and you know, it takes a little bit to teach kids how to put them in, but once they get it, they get it. I did find that kids in first grade and kindergarten, they're going to struggle doing it, so I think I need to find a different over-the-ear isolation type of a situation, you know, over-the-ear headphone. I know Vic Firth and like drumming headphones, but that may be too aggressive. I don't know. I'd have to do some research. It's real easy. Roll it, pinch it, right? Stick it in, and let it expand. Okay? Cheap, and it's worth a shot. So anyway, cheers. Big hugs from Kansas City area. Take care.